All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Somer Del Piso back once again with another episode of Peruse the News. Naturally with Sombra, the corporal of the cruise. You know, we're the quartermaster, rather. We're not going to be the captain today. We wanted to forego a couple of responsibilities just because the day has been so nice. It's very, very warm. And yeah, I just wanted to enjoy myself. That's it. A captain could forego some responsibilities sometimes, right? I guess. Welcome back to another episode of the Peruse the News with Somer Del Piso, corporal of the cruise. We're going to continue with this series. So like, comment, subscribe as per usual, and let's just get right into it. I was at the gym earlier, and I was just perusing, right? No pun intended. Through a lot of these news sources, and I found a lot of good articles. So we're gonna get into some stuff right now. This place is it's insane, man. It's insane. Let's just check it out. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. We're gonna begin with an article from the Bloomberg Business Week, written by a Crystal C. Title of the article is "TikTok Video Playing on Finance Bro Stereotype Becomes a Viral Hit." Of course. So what is a finance bro? I know you guys are wondering what that is, or maybe some of you guys already know. But a finance bro is basically like this archetype, this profile of an individual that works in New York, in Wall Street specifically. He wears suits from Brooks Brothers, maybe. He has like this a type of watch. He has like this certain type of drinking habits. They drink the same things. They hang out at specific bars. And I believe that this person, Megan Boney's recording has been turned into electronic remixes and danced to by New York clubgoers. I'm guessing this Megan Boney has created some videos making fun of these finance bros. So we're like in this new world now. When women make fun of men, it's celebrated on social media. It's lauded. It's celebrated. But you know, when men do the same thing, it's called misogynistic. They get lambasted. There's so much slander on their name, and it's not necessarily making fun of women per se. It's just sort of highlighting traits about them. Double standard world we're living in. Okay, let's begin. A 19-second TikTok video poking fun at old stereotypes is finding some new popularity online. Megan Boney, who goes by the handle "Girl on Couch," I don't get it. I don't get that girl on couch. This is just because she's just sitting on her couch and she just does these things that just go viral. I don't understand. Posted at the end of April singing about looking for a man in finance. Since then, her video has amassed more than 2 million likes and sparked thousands of riffs and recreations. The original recording has been turned into remixes, danced to by thousands at New York rave institution Brooklyn Mirage and Chef Rave Institution. Why don't you just call it a rave club? They gotta be so technical in these articles, you know? And streamed over 300,000 times on Spotify. So I reckon this thing got really popular because even it is poking fun at like these year-long stereotypes, which may or may not exist, but a lot of people perceive those to exist. So as a result, they get made fun of, and people are entertained when they're pointed out in these videos. There's the other side of this whole thing where there's a lot of single women out there that are dissatisfied with their relationship status, being single. Seeing the title of this video pop up on their various social media news feeds, just sort of giving them hope on, okay, finance bros, these are where to find these guys. Oh, it happens to be an entertaining satire on the stereotypes of a finance bro. In an interview, Megan says she hopes the finance bros are not too mad at me, which, I mean, she doesn't care at this point because she's gone viral. I was making fun of girls who are single and complain about being single but have this long list of things that a man should have, says Megan, 27, who's based in Manhattan. She says that she's also single, so she's making fun of herself as well. Most of these women are. Right, that's just the way it is. Most of these women are, but she began as like she began her little trip in the online world of attempting to go viral through making fun of single women, right? Because I think it was just a reflection of herself, her status, her relationship status. Then it just sort of went on into making fun of other people's stereotypes and so on and so forth. I hope one day to be an actress and not a slave to my phone. So she has another career ambition. It's just that she's just using this thing to get her name out there, and then hopefully eventually people will see that, she has this personality to her. Let's see if we can put her on the next Dune. And it raises the question, what are the odds of finding someone that fits the criteria that Boney laid out? A different video says that there could be about 2 people in the US who fit the bill. Boney says men have reached out to provide their eye color and height, but she has yet to find anyone who fulfills all her requirements. Are they even finance bros? It's hard to say, but they're wearing vested Sperry's, so I have to assume. I think that this world is especially like these, the metropolises, like in America. There's a lot of lonely people out there, and there's a lot of different types of people. There's a lot of different types of people in these metropolises. What people want has been morphed. It has transformed. So long are the days of just being just a simple man, you know, with simple tastes, taking public transportation, likes to, you know, hang out in the park on free time, has like a little group of people that he plays sports with. Long gone are those type of days where women are just looking for that. Now they want guys that make a certain amount, that weigh a certain amount, that are taller than a certain height, that have a certain type of social group, that look at a certain type of genre of movies after 8 p.m. The list goes on. It's funny that Megan brought up, you know, the perpetrator of this viral video highlighting the finance bros. It's funny that she says that she started to make fun of women that have all these requirements and whatnot of the type of men that they should date or be with, but she is still single and she still has all of these requirements on what her ideal mate should look like, as opposed to just diving in and just trying out people and just, you know, trying to just be simple, just not look for anything too much or too crazy. What to do, guys? I think that this should sort of reinforce not really going around looking for a mate, not really going around trying to date. I think that we should just try to focus on our personal projects. And if we meet a girl, we meet a girl. That's great. If we don't, then, you know, we still have our personal projects to sleep with us at night, you know, and keep us warm. That we don't have to sleep divorced, and that we don't have to stop watching horror movies after 8 p.m. with. So that's the end of that article. It was a little short, but that's my 2 cents about that. We got another one. Here. They just, look at these guys just want us to be paranoid and skeptical and scared and nervous and worried about everyone within our personal space. Why do they create articles like this? And this is from the BBC Science Focus magazine, no less. These guys are a credible source of information, at least to me. I think British writers write very, very well, and they get to the heart of a lot of problems. Let's get into this, shall we? The name of the article, written by Miriam Frankel, hidden in plain sight. Not all narcissists are loudmouth egotists, according to a growing body of scientists, obviously. There are also covert manipulators lurking in most social circles. So, of course, BBC, wonderful, credible news source. And when they create articles like this, right, when they post articles like this, now it's like people are just going to be thinking in the back of their mind, everything that this person is saying has to be true. And when I find out about those very covert, clandestine qualities that indicative of a narcissist within my social group, they're just going to point that out and lambast the poor person and probably separate themselves from a possibly very, very good relationship. Let's see what Miriam Frankel has to say. Narcissism appears to have reached pandemic proportions because everyone's narcissist. Single mothers are calling their baby fathers narcissists. God forbid you are a masculine man that likes to play volleyball every week with a couple of friends, and even though, you know, it's a unisex group, and even though, you know, it is unisex, you still tend to slam the ball. You're a narcissist, right? Everyone's a narcissist. I don't like dogs, right? Even though I'm in a contemporary world where everyone likes dogs, I'm a narcissist. That word is just used so freely, like, oh, that's a bad person, or that person sucks. You know, it's crazy. Just the other day, my 9-year-old announced that kids in the goddamn playground are branding each other narcissists in the playground. In the playground, can you imagine? How do 9-year-olds even know how to say that word? Narcissism. That's for narcissist. 3-syllable word, just yelling this in the playground. Oh, I want to keep my Power Ranger toy because my mother bought it for me for my birthday, and I have a very, very sentimental value to it. I have an attachment to this toy. You're a narcissist. My mom said that people like you are narcissists. All men are narcissists. And why wouldn't children adopt the label? It's become fashionable for adults to use it for exes, bosses, even family members. We all think we met a narcissist, perhaps most famously Carly Simon, whose hit You're So Vain is about a cad so egocentric that in the chorus she sings, oh, you probably think this song is about you. You're so vain, you're so vain. Is narcissism always as obvious as someone walking to a party like they're walking onto a yacht? Not only this, Miriam has highlighted the absurd usage of the word narcissism in this present day. She's brought it to light. She's not actually denouncing that. She's also now using that as a transition. She's confirming that. And she's now transitioning into maybe there are, even though we are using the word narcissism excessively, perhaps there are a lot of more narcissists in the midst of your social circles than that are not, usually with the same telling signs as the narcissists that we've come to learn how to identify. This is nuts, man. All right, red flags. Red flags. People who score high on grandiose narcissism tests tend to be what you'd expect. A long line of research has outlined how they tend to brag a lot, be arrogant, hog the limelight, and feel rather pleased about themselves. These people are highly extroverted, socially skilled, and ultimately have excellent mental health. So with these parameters, feasibly anyone could be a narcissist. God forbid you're confident, you've learned how to build up your confidence, you are very socially adept because maybe you've went to classes, maybe you were not bereft, but maybe you were devoid of these skills when you were younger. And then you decided to improve yourself as you've, grown older and matured because you realize that it's very hard to advance in society without a lot of these traits. And boom, you might be a secret narcissist. You might be a hidden narcissist. So dumb. Hidden vulnerable narcissists aren't like this. While the grandiose tend to have virtually no self-doubt, which is, by the way, a good thing, right? This is a perception from the outside looking in, from people that are laden with anxieties. I'm not saying, Sombra might be a narcissist, danger, danger, red flag. I'm not saying narcissism is good, but I'm just saying that we are having people that are probably laden with a whole bunch of anxieties, depression, they're socially awkward. And because it's hard for them to even think about surmounting these personal issues to become socially acceptable, they are instantly pointing fingers at people that have done the work to be this way, or maybe are naturally, open and socially acceptable and adept as narcissists. Like, this is crazy. Those with the vulnerable form of narcissism are insecure and defensive, preoccupied with trying to protect their superior self-image. All, by the way, outsiders looking in. Vulnerable narcissists constantly trying to minimize failure are understandably much less happy than their grandiose peers and prone to both anxiety and depression. The vulnerable narcissist tends to be very brittle and can't take criticism, explains Hart. Okay, so like those types of people, all right, they're probably narcissists. If you can't take criticism well, if you walk into a room and think that you're like the star of the show and dismissive of a lot of other opinions, even though they're not necessarily critical, they're just sort of eye-opening, then you might be narcissist. But there are people that have aspects of these traits and that are not the full-on 100% glass full narcissist. But they're getting labeled that way. They're just collateral damage. Sort of like a Predator missile in Iraq or something. It's crazy. Trait of flux. By now, you're probably convinced that somebody in your life is a full-bodied, extra-strength, unfiltered, covert narcissist. If they were unfiltered, they wouldn't be covert. If I think this way, it's only because that I'm a sort of a mindless, drooling individual that instantly believe that because this article is written in the BBC Science magazine, that it's completely credible and completely correct. Oh, yeah. A narcissist has a lot of confidence and can speak very well, and it's completely social adept. Well, that does sound like a narcissist. I do know one. That's probably my sister, or probably my sister's boyfriend. Maybe my sister's boyfriend's uncle. They were narcissists too. Oh my God. Narcissism isn't necessarily something you either have or you don't have, like a broken leg. Instead, everyone exists somewhere on the spectrum. So crap, I'm a narcissist too. What do? I gotta throw myself off a cliff. Narcissistic personality traits can get stronger or weaker over time, be triggered by certain situations, and express themselves differently in different people. That means all of us are narcissists to some extent. Crap, there's no escape. There's no escape from this. This is the crux of Miriam's argument. At the end of the day, you can't escape your narcissistic tendencies. It's almost like your reptilian brain. In addition to that, one of the very primordial ancient parts of our brain and our psyche is the trait of narcissism. We have traits of narcissism that exist and express itself through various means. There's no escape. There's no escape. As opposed to people diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, people with high levels of narcissistic personality traits may be able to dial down these tendencies in certain situations, such as around their family. Heart of cold. So yeah, we're gonna go into this. So I'm not gonna lie, I was called narcissistic once upon a time by this girl I used to work with in at this restaurant. She was one of my best friends. I talked about her earlier on the channel. She actually admitted to having a God complex, this woman, right? Me, you know, me as Sombra del Piso, the peacemaker, the olive branch white flag waver, not red flag, white flag. I was always seeking to like, you know, okay, clearly she's in the wrong in this situation, but I seek peace anyway, so I'm gonna do that. And then, you know, she used to criticize me on like every single personality trait or every single trait I had in the book. I like to connect with people, I like to talk with people. Oh, that's traits of being a narcissist. I like to, you know, tip people higher than 20% on average, narcissistic. I like to wake up early, because she hated waking up early to go to the gym, just so, you know, on our days off, just so we could properly utilize the rest of the free time in the day. Oh, I must be a narcissist. So it's just, these are just words, guys, like, if someone is calling you a narcissist in your life, I mean, of course, do like an objective self-analysis and introspection on your personality traits and how you treat the world around you. Please do that, right? But chances are, well, remember, these words are being thrown around like flyers advertising for body oils and lotions. These are just things. You're not a narcissist, hopefully not, right? Time has shown that at least some narcissists appear to have the ability to feel empathy, which makes them trickier to identify. Hart and her colleagues have investigated empathy specifically in narcissism. Like, what? There's so many things that we could study in this world. How can we find some way to sell organic foods for a fraction of the price that they're being sold in supermarkets? How can we create more affordable housing and create job opportunities for a lot of the less fortunate and the less able? How can we create universities that actually teach information that's relevant to real life, such as how to do your taxes, how to save money, how to obtain skills to be hireable in any sort of economy, no matter what level the economy is in, whether it be in a downturn or an upswing, right? Instead of doing studies on that, we have a whole bunch of individuals that have their PhDs actively trying to figure out who can be a narcissist and how can we identify our narcissism in individuals, even though they're lending to society by paying taxes and being an all-around law-abiding citizen. Like, stop. This is such a waste of time. This is such a waste of time. In one series of studies, they asked 88 undergraduate students who had been assessed for narcissistic traits to watch a video about a woman, Jenny, who had recently suffered a traumatic breakup. At the same time, their heart rates were measured with an electrocardiogram, ECG. They had discovered that students who were high in narcissism reported lower levels of empathy for the woman, and astonishingly, their heart rates actually slowed down while watching the video, the opposite of what you would expect to find in someone who feels empathy. But then they say in the beginning of this paragraph that some narcissists might have empathy. They did say that, didn't they? Maybe these people are, you know, people that came from a war-torn country. So they see something like a breakup as something like, oh, you know what? At the end of the day, I've seen people with their legs literally getting blown off in front of me. This is nothing. Like, how is it okay and they're not feeling for Jenny, even though there's no context in the video? They must be narcissistic. Guys, the long, the tall, the short is this. Most likely you are not a narcissist, even if you don't feel empathy for things that most people feel empathy for, or if you are sort of confident and you just know how to carry yourself. That doesn't mean that you are a narcissist, but you might be on the spectrum, because narcissism is a huge spectrum. So you might exist as a narcissist to some degree. You can't escape. You can't escape. Let's get the hell out of this article, man. Like, if you read these things, if you don't have an analytical, critical thinking mind, this world will flood you with a whole bunch of misinformation and all these angles of silly ideology, I promise you. We're gonna go to the last article here. Last article being, actually this is not funny. from the Wall Street Journal, written by a Te-Ping Chan. The name of the article is The Loneliness of the American Worker. We're going back. So not only you might be narcissist, but you also might be lonely. We already know that this loneliness epidemic has befallen a whole bunch of individuals all around the world. We have been lonelier than ever in this contemporary age. We are not talking to each other. We don't like to connect. We have learned to judge each other by not only skin color. I mean, we've been doing that for years, right? Clothes that people wear. And based off their micro actions, right? Micro physical actions that we deduce. We don't have any critical thinking, so we were told how to perceive and deduce the significance of those micro behaviors from some charming individual with a whole bunch of Louis Vuitton apparel online, right? And so we judge these individuals and we don't actually get to know individuals. So maybe this has to do with, maybe this article is going to talk about it. Let's get into it. So Te-Ping Chan says, more Americans are profoundly lonely, and the way they work, more digitally linked, but less personally connected, is deepening that sense of isolation. Nick Scarda, what kind of name is Scarda? What is Scarda? 29 years old, works 2 jobs in logistics and office administration in San Diego to keep up with his bills. So implicitly, Miss Chan, right, I'm guessing it's a woman, is talking about the rising costs and the inflation of everything in the modern world, with, implying that, just sort of highlighting the 2 jobs that Nick has. After a couple of years at the logistics job, he has one friend there. He says hi to coworkers at his office job, but doesn't really know any. I feel sort of an emptiness or lack of belonging, he says. Employers and researchers are just beginning to understand how workplace shifts over the past 4 years are contributing to what the U.S. Surgeon General declared a loneliness health epidemic last year. The alienation affects remote and in-person workers alike. Among 1-800-Flowers.com's 5,000 hybrid and fully on-site employees, for instance, the most popular community chat group offered by a company mental health provider is simply called Loneliness. I'm going to tell you something, right? Like I said in the talking about the last loneliness epidemic article, we are just not talking to each other. It's so easy to say hi to individuals. It's so easy to just break out of your shell and try to connect with other individuals. We are just not trying to do that, right? We are in America. We are in one of the richest countries in the world, right? We have access. We can buy iPhones, right? We have jobs that could allow us to pay for cars, lease cars. You can buy Mac laptops. You could rent an apartment in the city, buy a really huge big screen TV. Like there are a lot of countries that do not have the financial economic might as this first world nation that we live in. And they are way less lonely than we are. What is the problem? What is the issue? The issue is that we are just not connecting with each other. We judge people off their appearance. We have these preconceived notions about a lot of individuals, and as a result, we are just not connecting with each other. We are saying hi to Benjamin at work, and it's just like a hi. We're not really worried about, hey, is Benjamin dating? Or, hey, does Benjamin go to the gym? How much can Benjamin deadlift? Does Benjamin have an interest in Elena, the girl that works in HR? Like, we're not asking these questions. We don't care about Ben. We just care about ourselves, and we're just not seeking to connect with other individuals. This is the reason why this thing is persisting, right? Even though, all right, let's read the rest of this thing. Let's read the rest of this thing. Consider these phenomena of modern work. More than 40% of fully remote workers polled in a 2023 survey of working parents by Bright Horizons say they go days without leaving the house. Personal issue. Just because you're making a lot of money on remote work, which I am dying to obtain, vying and searching to obtain, I definitely plan to utilize the obtaining of, or how do you say, the receiving of that remote job to the best of my ability. Trust me, we go into South America and we're about to connect. That's the only reason why I want it, so I could survive over in South America to connect further. That's the only reason why I want to do that. Those who work in office spend nearly a quarter of their time in virtual meetings, while face-to-face meetings account for only 8% of their time, according to data from real estate company Cushman & Wakefield. Okay, you have more meetings. After the meeting, hey, hit up your friend Hey, what you doing? I just got out of this long ass meeting. They were talking again about how we need to finish up our work before the deadline, blah, blah, blah. Have conversation, you know? People are just not doing this. Since 2019, 68% said they knew their coworkers on a personal level, down from 79% 5 years ago. All right, 68% is still more than 51%, which is the majority. So we're still in the majority of people still are chatting with each other, or they know their coworkers on a personal level. The thing is this though, like, I already said people are just not connecting with each other, but we're just not worried about other people. I also said this too, like I'm gonna finish recording this video and then I'm gonna head to the supermarket where I know about like 4 or 5 people in the supermarket, 3 of which where I will stay there and have a lengthy conversation with. I know about where they're from, what their ambitions are, why they're working there, how many languages they speak, everything, because I am interested in what individuals have to contribute in general. And I think that if we became less solipsistic and narcissist, right? And we stop listening to people like in the first article, like Megan, on how we need to judge people that are eligible as a bachelor or a bachelorette, I think that we'd be less lonely and then we'll just have a better time connecting with each other. That's just the long, the tall, the short of it. We don't care about people anymore. It's crazy, or at least we never did. It's just that now it's just even worse. While today's workers have more ways to connect than ever, social media, right now you can, on YouTube, you can meet someone that's across the world from you in Japan. You can meet someone that's working in Antarctica, right? While workers have more ways to connect than ever, there are only so many memes and jokes you can send over Slack, says Mael Gave, Chief Exec of Techstars, a pre-seed fund that has invested in 4,100 startups. We tend to have more and more people with back-to-back calendars, more meetings and less connections. Just send them a chat, send them a message. Send someone a message, they'll get back to it when they're finished their excessive meetings and back-to-back appointments on their calendars. It's not hard. Send memes. If the memes run out, then say something. You know, oh, I just did this. You have to try to get people to speak, get people to express themselves. It's so easy to connect. At Microsoft, 27% of the company's teams all worked in the same location last year, compared to 61% in 2019. You see, like the people that get these remote jobs, which I'm not envious of, Somber doesn't feel envy. It's just that they use these jobs to stay at home, drink coffee, snuggle up, and whilst they do a tepid, minute amount of diminutive amount of work per day, they are just like scrolling on social media and listening to some trust fund person on social media saying that men ain't crap, or this is why you need to date men that are 6 feet and over. Right, that is the problem. I think that we could utilize remote work, like my plans, to increase my social behavior. Like I said, once I get fully remote work that pays well, I am going to South America. That is it. We're going to Mexico. We're gonna spend 6 months in Mexico, 6 months in Colombia per year. And then we're gonna keep doing that, and socialize. I learned Spanish, guys, in 2 years, not because I was, going on online classes and being solipsistic and just like not talking to people, not practicing. I practiced with people randomly, people that I worked with, people that I met that happened to be from like Venezuela, Nicaragua, Honduras, whichever Spanish-speaking country there is. I connected with these individuals. That's how I learned Spanish. Albeit, arguably, my friend at the gym, who I also met by being open and caring about, actually genuinely interested in her life, says that my Spanish isn't the best, and that's fine, but I could communicate for the most part. In closing, I'm just saying I think we need to connect more as a society. I think that we just need to open up more and be more willing to be humiliated or ignored, because most people are going to do that because, a lot of people tend to be individualists, but it's well worth it when it's a numbers game. It's well worth it. You can be rejected 50 times if you get that one friend, that one person that reciprocates all that, then it's worth it. So with that being said, that's all I have to say today. If you like that content, like, comment, subscribe. Please give me some advice and feedback. Don't let this place get you down. We got people talking about finance bros and how you need to look for these type of traits in people in order to have a good mate. We are still lonely as hell. all this stuff. But listen, change begins with you. I hate to sound cheesy, but be positive, you're gonna have positive experiences. That's just the name of the game. And it's not because I've been reading The Secret, because I probably read like 2 pages of it when I was younger, but it's just reality. You are a good person, you will have good things happen to you. That's just the name of the game. Stay radiant. We're gonna see you guys in the next session. Woo!